Good evening, respected principals, educators, school leaders, and all our distinguished guests joining us today. A very warm welcome to this special Dialogues in Education webinar titled Artificial Intelligence plus Human Expertise, where trust, efficiency, and personalization converge. At Dialogues in Education, we strongly believe that the future of education will not be built by technology alone, and it will not be protected by tradition alone as well. The real future will emerge when human wisdom, teacher expertise, institutional trust, and artificial intelligence come together with responsibility and purpose. So, today's discussion is not about replacing teachers. It is not about by handing over schools to machines. Rather, it is about asking a much deeper question. Can AI reduce routine load, improve academic support, personalize learning, and still keep the teacher and school leader at the center of education? That is the spirit of today's conversation. I am Rakesh Kalia, co-founder and director at Keducon E-Learning, and it is my pleasure to moderate this important discussion with three respected panelists who bring experience, leadership, and practical school-level understanding. Let me warmly welcome our panelists. Dr. Anuja Kaushal, Principal, BCM Arya School, Ludhiana. Welcome, ma'am. We are delighted to have you with us. Ma'am Sonia Walia, Principal, Cambridge International School, Nama Shahar. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Thank you for joining this meaningful conversation. And last but not the least, Dr. Sonia Mago, Principal, Swami Sant Das Public School, Jalandhar. Ma'am, we are honored to have you with us today. Welcome to the panel. So, to all our participants, this webinar has been designed as a focused and practical conversation. We'll rotate three important questions again amongst our panelists. These questions are directly connected with the real concerns and opportunities that schools are facing these days. Before we begin the panel discussion, let me set the context briefly. So, as you know, artificial intelligence is no longer a distant idea. It is already entering classrooms, lesson planning, assessments, content creation, student support, administrative work, and even parent communication. But in schools, every innovation must pass three tests. First is, can we trust it? Second is, can it genuinely improve efficiency? Third is, can it personalize learning without, weakening the human relationship between teacher and the student? A school is not a factory, of course. A child is not a data point. A teacher is not just a content delivery person. So when AI brings enormous possibilities, its adoption in schools must be thoughtful, ethical, and human-centered. With this background, let us begin our first round of discussions. The question is, what specific problem or challenge in school you could AI realistically help solve? Describe what that solution would exactly look like in practice. So let me begin with Dr. Anuja Kaushal. Ma'am, every school has practical challenges, right? Learning gaps, teacher workload, differentiated instruction, assessments, parent communication, documentation, and student engagement. So, from your experience, what is one specific problem that AI could realistically help solve? And more importantly, what would that solution look like in daily school practice? Over to you, Dr. Kaushal.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rakesh, for the question. Obviously, since the time we were teachers and now we are leaders, we've been looking for one solution because it remains the desire of every teacher to reach out to every student and somehow get down to the level of learning style of every student so that the learning outcome for every student is best. So I would say, will assist teachers in reaching out to every student and to personalize the learning pathway for every student. Because ours is a big school, specifically for my school, we have a strength of 6,300. And my every class is having 400 students, with every section having 40 students. So obviously, as a leader also, I'm looking forward to some solution which can personalize the learning and the teaching for every student. And classrooms, as we know already, they are inherently heterogeneous with cognitive diversity in the classrooms. There are different learning abilities of the children. Some are visual learners, some are auditory learners, and some learn best when the text is given to them. So it's always a desire somewhere for with every teacher that we are able to customize. So there are various LMS systems now available which are integrated with AI, and artificial intelligence helps in finding out the learning gaps. So, for example, if a teacher has delivered her lecture one day, so and based on the lecture, a teacher has given some assessment, diagnostic assessment. So by the time teacher is ready to plan for her next day lesson, on the dashboard of the teacher, the learning gaps are visible, because when the children perform that diagnostic assessment, the AI brings out the learning gaps for the entire class and the individualized learning gaps. And the teacher always can identify the cohort of students which are weak in one concept or the other concept. And as a result, next day lesson plan for the teacher could be moving around the concepts which remained weak, building on those concepts.
Right.
And moreover, assessment can also be competency based assessment, because AI helps in designing the assessment as per the individual level of the student. So the progression of the child can be competency based rather than just based on the grade or one unit examination. So this is how AI can be a great help for creating the personalized pathway for the students, individualized learning pathways for the students, and the curriculum designing can be adaptive for a teacher. And similarly, while teacher is teaching in the class and she uh, estimates from the faces of the children that her way of teaching is not connected with the children. So there are interactive panels in our school which have AI software integrated. As a result, teacher encircles any concepts, and AI already knows what chapter, what topic is going on, and a teacher gets a lot of assistance in terms of real-time support of various multimodal content forms. For example, there can be some text definition, simplified definition given by AI. There can be suggested video by AI, or there can be some diagrammatic representation given by AI, which can always assist teacher to further strengthen her own instruction for the children. So these are the two areas where customized lesson plan for individual learning pathway for the student, and real-time instruction support for the teacher. They are the best applications of AI I would like to have in my school and in every classroom.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Kaushal. That was a very practical point. Uh, I especially like the way you connected AI not with a futuristic dream, but with an actual level, a school level challenge.
Yeah.
So one important takeaway here is that AI becomes meaningful only when it solves a real pain point.
Yeah.
So technology should not be adopted because it is fashionable, right? It should be adopted because it reduces friction, kind of improves learning, and as you said, identification of learning gaps and working upon those gaps. That is a practical challenge that schools face these days, or it supports teachers as well in a visible way. So this is very important. So now I would like to invite Ma'am Sonia Walia Ma'am to share her perspective. Ma'am, in your school context, where do you see AI creating immediate value? Would it be in helping teachers prepare better lessons, identifying learning gaps, as Kaushal ma'am said, creating remedial pathways, or reducing administrative burden, or in some way, supporting students, maybe after school hours? Over to you, ma'am, Sonia Wali ma'am, please.
Thank you, sir. AI is very complex.
Correct.
What happens is in teaching learning, it's exciting as well as complex. I was reading Harvard Business School's research paper, and they said that AI is like any other tool which we keep on using, but it is used and it is operated best when people understand how to use it And the second and most important thing is trust, because as school leaders, we know that we are dealing with students who are 18 years and less of age. And then it can be integrated. If we know each and everything, if our teachers are clear and as heads we are clear, and then when we integrate it into the already working process, then it will give results. This is Harvard Business School's 2026 research. And I was so impressed by this because as a school leader whose school is semi-rural, I always think that the trust and the teachers, two things should go hand in hand. And as my question is about what concerns me, concerns are a lot. What I feel is maybe AI will make our students a little lazy because everything will be delivered to them on a platter. What happens is when, let me give you one example of our school only. In English, we had writing comprehensions. So teachers were very happy because the homework which was coming, it was par excellent. But when internal assessments were there, the same children were unable to write as good as they were bringing it from home. So AI was there. So my concern is this: ki AI can somehow limit the analytical skills of our children if it is used like that.
Correct.
We need to have specific AI using policies as nuclear power.
Correct.
They have policy and very rigid policy. Right now, the war is going on because of this only. So I think when in the context of the schools, when we are allowing our children to use AI, we should have very strict policies. How to use, when to use. As for teachers, it was like only 33% should be AI enabled teaching and 70 should be yours. In the same way, there should be something for the students also. So this is my only concern, that how we are going to do this.
So thank you so much, Sonia ma'am. That was very insightful, particularly in context with the present geopolitical scenario. What I hear emerging from this discussion is that schools do not need AI as a decoration, right? Schools
They
need
need AI, but it should be under proper
supervision and
laws. Yes, there should be
correct.
something. We should have clear
There
laws.
have,
I'm talking about not about teachers also to some extent, but for students, of course, yes.
yes, I absolutely agree with that. We have to have proper guardrails to
Guidelines should be there.
guardrails, especially to make the best use case out of AI. So schools definitely need AI as a dependable assistant, something that helps teachers save time, help principals make some informed decisions, and help students receive support at the right moment. So the real value of AI, may not be in doing extraordinary things once in a while, but in doing ordinary academic support tasks.
Over reliance on AI can hamper their critical thinking skills.
Correct. Absolutely. I agree.
Yes.
So, very correct, ma'am. So I now request Dr. Sonia Mago to respond to the same question, ma'am. If AI were introduced in your school, which real problem would you ask it to solve first? And how would you imagine that solution functioning, practically for teachers, students, or the school administration? Over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, can you switch on your? Yeah,
Yes,
please come in.
definitely. This is the time of AI. We may call it AI era. We are
Correct.
living in a VUCA world. VUCA stands for, we all know, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. So
Ambiguous.
everything is changing so fast, and change is the only constant we can say.
Correct.
So we have to adapt ourselves, and the school should not be left behind in this race of AI, that I must say. And those who won't be, adopting AI in today's time, they would be termed as dinosaurs, I must say. So AI is scaffolding teachers as well as students in today's time, and teachers can also create question papers, assignments, and anything they want. They, within a click of minute, within a click of time, they can generate numerous assignments and question banks. And students also, they can create their projects, they can do the research, they can develop their creativity and critical thinking also. Like, enormous resources are available on net nowadays. They use chat gpt, they use Gemini app, they use Meta AI also for doing their homework assignments. As ma'am is saying, we need to keep a check on that. That is very much required in today's time. But definitely many problems are being solved by AI. You must have heard of AI robot teachers in many schools. They are not replacing the real teachers, the human teachers, but they are definitely assisting the teachers. Like, if there is a human teacher in the classroom as well as a robot teacher in the classroom, so the human teacher can show or explain the things by going back in history also, then and there in the classroom. So if the students are asking any question where they need to show, suppose 3D working of a machine, they need to refer to the first original device that was there, invented long back in history. They can show the picture or video related to that then and there. Second thing is student engagement. That has increased so much with the use of AI. We people are using robotics in our schools, and we are also going to teach drones this time to the students. And through Lego kits and Arduino circuitry, they are learning lot many things. And if any student develops the interest later on after he passes out from the school, the student can adopt this as a career also. This is an added advantage because this is the time of skills. So if any student likes that profession, so may go ahead with that in life. So I was talking about student engagement. If you have heard about the name of Aditya Dhar, we all know that he's the writer, producer, and director of Dhurandhar movie. And according to me, he's a very good teacher. He is, able to engage the audience for 4 hours, right? So how to engage the students in the classroom? Because nowadays students are very, very, multi-model learners we are having. They want flexible learning environments. Like, we used to sit for 7 8 hours in the classroom. They are not used to of that. They want in between activities, they want that flexible environment, peer learning, and all that, group discussions, and the support of ICT as well, the support of AI. Of course, they want the teacher to teach using those tools in the classroom. So I would just like to say that AI is coming in for school education system in a big way, and we are all taking advantage of that. So we are able to engage the students more and more through AI tools and AI activities. Like my computer teachers, they are using lot many AI activities. We have heard about different games like rock, paper, scissors. So in lower classes also, we are letting them engage through rock, paper, and scissor AI activity. So
Right.
students find it very, very interesting because they are using ICT in a good way, right? So I think this is a revolutionary idea that is coming in schools, and already CBSE has taken initiative that right from class third to class 8, CT and AI has been introduced in the curriculum. So it's no more, left behind. So we are all looking forward to it. And already in our school from last 3 years, we are having AI as a skill subject for classes 9th, 10th as well. And it is available for classes 11th and 12th also. So it is already, as you also said, into the mainstream into the school education. Already we have AI in our classrooms.
Right. Even the government of India, I mean, as per the new education policy, national education policy, they've already introduced this AI from grade 3 onwards. Now, so AI is definitely mainstream. Everyone should positively think about AI, keeping in mind all the negative aspects as well. So, thank you, Dr. Sonia Mago. Your response adds a very important dimension to this discussion. I think the collective message from round one is very clear. AI should not begin with technology, it should begin with the problem, right? So, first identify the challenge, then decide whether AI is the right tool. For schools, the most powerful use of AI may be in areas like personalized practice, instant feedback, as you said about the learning gaps, diagnostic assessments. Again, they are structured around learning gaps. Then teacher support, remedial learning, lesson planning, and reducing repetitive academic or administrative works. But the leadership decision must always remain human, right? So now coming to the next round, let us now move to the second and very important part of discussion. Whenever we talk about AI in education, enthusiasm must be balanced with caution, which we have already discussed in our earlier round as well. Whenever we talk about AI in education, schools are responsible for children, their data, their learning habits, their emotional development, and their values. Therefore, trust becomes central, right? Trust is very important. So, the question is, what concerns you most about bringing AI into your school? What could go wrong, and how would you prevent it? So, let me again begin with Dr. Anuja Kaushal. So, ma'am, when we talk about AI in schools, many concerns come up, over dependence on technology, data privacy, inaccurate answers, reduced, thinking among students. So we already discussed this, that the students are using less of their
Analytical skills, yeah, no
analytic
doubt.
skills. So they are less into using their own brains. They are depending more on technology these days. Then teacher resistance, plagiarism is one more issue, or unequal access. From your point of view, what is the biggest risk, and what safeguards would you put in place before allowing AI to become part of school practice? Over to you, Dr. Anuja Kaushal, please. Ma'am, please switch on your mic.
Okay. So
Yeah.
obviously, when we introduced AI, there was the first and the foremost question that maybe it will lead to plagiarism, or the students will heavily rely on generative AI to give responses to the assessments and assignments we'll give to them. But then obviously the teachers have to be better equipped. So first and foremost concern that arises in these days is attendance in the school, because I believe somewhere students have started believing that they'll find their answers through generative AI, and they're feeling less need to come to the classrooms, especially if we see the senior classes.
Correct.
So the concern remains erosion of human connect between students and teachers, which is very, very important, because if the children feel that the diagnostic feedback will be given by AI tools to the students and the personalized modules they'll keep getting from the AI, so that a misunderstanding or the myth must be removed by us, because AI is just measuring the cognitive or intellectual dimension of the child. But what about the socio-emotional domain? So my concern remains when we give AI tools or assign work through the technology, online work to the students. So the concern remains that it may not happen that the students become addicted to screens, and they stop interacting with the friends or the teachers or going to the teachers for solving their doubts. Because when they're coming to a teacher, in addition to measuring intellectual or cognitive domain of the child, the teacher is looking at the child as an overall complete individual.
Absolutely.
And in addition to the intellectual abilities of the child, teacher also looks at the behavior aspects, which no dashboard, no sensors, no algorithms can sense. So this
Absolutely.
is where human touch is very important. So when a teacher is interacting with the student, the teacher is measuring so much more. The teacher
Correct.
senses whether the child is getting isolated, whether the child is under some stress, whether today is a bad day. That is why there is a learning gap, not because of the understanding. But the
Correct.
child is bright, but today the child doesn't seem to be in a good mood or in a good temperament. So that's why there could be a decline, and there is constant decline that the teacher is able to sense.
Yeah.
So in addition to the knowledge testing, it is very important that the mental health of the child must be taken care of, which can only be done by the teachers. So
Absolutely.
that remains the concern, that the students should feel the necessity to come to school and interact with the peers and the teachers, so that social emotional domain of their personality can and mental health can also be taken care of. And of course, whenever we register ourselves with any of the LMS system, the first thing which is asked from us by the commercial platforms is the data of the children, their contact numbers, their email IDs. So that again raises doubt amongst the teachers as well as parents. So the first resistance which comes from the parents is our students, our child's data is getting breached. So that remains a concern. So there must be some protocol that privacy of the data of the student remains maintained. And third, obviously, is a question of equity. Whenever I introduce any AI tool in the classroom, my concern remains, obviously, some work will be assigned by the teacher. Is sufficient bandwidth internet available to the child? Is every child having the device to attempt and perform, so that the teacher is able to see the performance of everyone? So equitable distribution of the resources and the knowledge through AI is also very, very important. So these are the three major concerns which keep cropping up as we integrate AI into the classrooms.
Right. So that was a very balanced response, I suppose. This is, where the word trust becomes extremely important, right?
Yeah.
So AI can be useful, but blind trust in AI can be dangerous. This we all agree upon. So in a school, every AI output must be seen as a suggestion, not as the final authority. So the teacher must remain the validator. So validation uh, is with the human teacher only. The content being generated by the generative AI tools like generative AI, all kinds of tools that we are using these days, Chat GPT and others, they must be validated, verified by the human teachers before uh, disseminating them to the students. This is very crucial. So the school must remain the ethical gatekeeper, kind of, that role is very important for schools. The child must remain the central concern, right? So now I invite Ma'am Sonia Walia. Ma'am, what worries you most about AI entering school systems? Is it academic dishonesty? Is it misinformation? Is it privacy? Is it the possibility that students may stop struggling productively, which you have already mentioned in your earlier remarks, and start depending too much on shortcuts? So, and in your
Yes.
view, how can a school prevent these risks without completely blocking innovation? Because sometimes
Uh,
when we are too apprehensive about any intervention, that also blocks interventions
yes.
or innovations. Yeah, over to ma'am.
Uh,
Thank you.
what I feel is the government, the education department should have one AI use policy which should be mandatory. As according to United Nations, it is 70-30. 70 should be from the students as well as the teachers, and 30 should be from AI. That is the set procedure. I am working on this, that how we can do it. And the second concern is about the, as ma'am said, Anuja ma'am said, about the data of children. Nowadays, that is the major concern of parents as well as the school also. When the data goes, then it becomes a problem. For this, I want that there should be some steps where the data of the children should not go overlooked. And the third is about the teachers. They should be able to verify no copy pasting by the students, and the teacher should be the leader in the class, not AI and not other things which we are using. My concern is about the policy only.
Correct.
When the policy will be in place, then everything will fall into the place. AI is going to stay, that is for sure. But how we perceive it and how we navigate it in the school system, that is the major concern.
Correct. Correct. Very correct. You have raised a very important point, ma'am. So again, reiterating the same aspect means the government regulations. Regulation is must. I mean, over everything.
Guidelines by the school and regulations by the government. Two things
Government.
side by side should work.
Very correct. I fully agree, ma'am. In education, the goal is not just to get the answer, right? The goal is to build the mind that can reach the answer. So this is how we could help our students to develop their minds rather than depending on simply technology to get answers.
Simply technology.
Yeah. If AI gives answers too quickly, students may lose the habit of thinking. This is the major concern with all the educators these days, right? So, but if AI is designed to ask questions, guiding questions, give hints, diagnose mistakes, and encourage reasoning, then it can actually strengthen learning. This we all agree as educators.
Yes.
So the question is not simply whether AI is good or bad. I mean, the question
No,
is
AI is
how.
good and AI is going to stay with us.
Absolutely. It's an underlying technology. It is here to stay forever now. So just like internet and earlier technologies, they are staying with us. There are bubbles, which burst with the passage of time. They do burst, but then the underlying technologies always stay, right? So the question is, how is being used? Who is supervising? Again, the regulation part. What values are built into its use? So now I request Dr. Sonia Mago to share her concerns, ma'am. What could go wrong if AI is introduced carelessly in schools, and what kind of school policy, teacher training, parental awareness, or student guidelines would be necessary to make AI adoption safe and meaningful? So over to you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Like AI is a disruptive technology. So we know the benefits, and ma'am said that it is going to stay with us. So, but the main concern is it may hamper the creativity of the students because they are getting dependent on AI.
Correct.
So this over dependence is not required. We often announce in the assembly also that for completing your task, don't depend on Meta AI, Chat GPT, and other AI tools. Because especially when it comes to development of analytical skills or writing skills and other things, like if they are taking help of AI tools, that is definitely going to hamper their potential, original creativity. It is going to hamper. So we don't at all suggest them. They can take some help, they can take some points from there, but they have to elaborate on their own. This is what is, and they don't know whether it is good or bad. They may get misinformation or wrong information also from there. And AI itself says, it gives a disclaimer that I may be wrong also. It is always
Yes.
written there when we
Most
see
often it
information.
apologizes for its
Yes.
wrong answers,
Yes,
responses.
it itself says, because there is no authenticity sometimes. So role of teachers is not just to take the advantage of these things, develop the questionnaires and lesson plans using AI tools, but also they need to guide the students how to use it ethically.
Correct.
And parents also need to check whether, if the child is saying that I am doing some work using AI tools, whether the child is using it in the right way, he is not surfing anything else, and there should not be any kind of distraction that parents still need to see. Parents role is also very very important in this case.
Yeah.
So like school is checking, teachers are checking, it's the duty of parents as well to come forward. And now if a child has taken help of AI tool to complete some assignment, how to check the originality? Like ma'am said, that very good homework assignments came forward, and it was, done with the help of AI. So by asking certain questions, teachers can come to know whether it is the original work of the students or they have taken the help of some AI tools, or they can give some challenging tasks that they won't even be able to find from AI tools as well. For example, create the design of a robot that can make jalebis, like that. So they can give, so I'm just giving example, they can give some challenging tasks that are not even available on chat gpt or gemini or other tools.
Okay.
So this is our responsibility, that upskilling of teachers is also a concern, that we need to train them. And yes, cbse is doing that already. They are, conducting capacity building programs for teachers. And for ai, many have been done, many sessions have been organized, and teachers all across the country, they are also attending that. So proper guidance training to the teachers, that would also, come up as a valuable thing. Thank you.
That was very thoughtful, ma'am. I think this round has given us a very powerful message. AI adoption in schools cannot be a random experimentation. It must be governed by clear principles. Again, regulation is the most important, supervision by parents, teachers, and everyone, all the adults, right? So, in short, AI in schools must be introduced with both courage and caution. That is the key takeaway from here. So, now coming to the next round, we now move to our next and final panel question. After discussing possibilities and risks, the natural next question is, how should a school begin? Right? Schools cannot transform overnight. It takes time, right? A thoughtful AI journey should begin small, remain measurable, and involve teachers at every stage. That is, humans in the loop again. So the question is, if your school were to adopt AI thoughtfully, what first steps would you take? How would you know if it was actually helping students, right? So let me invite again Dr. Anuja Kaushal, ma'am. Suppose your school decides to take the first serious steps, towards AI adoption. What would you do first? I mean, would you begin with the teacher training, kind of pilot project, some kind of AI assisted assessments, personalized practice for students, or maybe some kind of administrative automation or parent communication? And how would you measure whether AI is truly helping students and not just creating excitement? So over to you, ma'am. Please switch on your mic, please.
First and foremost, as we are heading towards implementing various AI tools in the school, so
Mhm.
my first concern when I started talking to the various vendors supplying LMS and all, so the first concern was, do we have infrastructure, the requirement, the interactive panels supporting the AI tools? So obviously, first audit of infrastructure is very important for the school to before we hire or decide to implement some technology. So tools are very important. We should have the right tools, right internet speed to ensure that the AI application is done in the class. And then, second, yes, training of the teachers is very, very important. Before training, I would say mentally preparing the teacher, dealing with all the apprehensions and doubts that AI is going to assist them. It's not sort of a pressure or a burden on them. In fact, if they use it, so making them comfortable with its use. So having plenty of teacher orientations, capacity building programs is very, very important because teacher is going to use the AI tool. If teacher is not confident enough to use the AI tool in the class, it can be chaos. So it's
Absolutely.
very important the teacher is confident and is knows what are the right ways to use it and how they can remain above the level of AI and the students while using the app so that they themselves do not be considered by the students as unimportant. So it is very important to make teachers confident. Capacity building programs and training of the teachers is very, very important. And similarly, any technology, because the teachers also learn gradually. So it's not that we decide to implement it all across all classes and across all subjects. Yes, having a pilot program in the school is very, very important. Before we implement something, we must decide which grade, which subject is having maximum gaps and can give us the feedback of the utility of the program. So we should start with the pilot program, and then we should identify the teachers who become AI champions and are able to handle it well, so that those teachers can be selected to further train the next lot of teachers, having a cascading effect. So when we are ready, as far as infrastructure is concerned, as far as training of the teachers is concerned, and our pilot is successful, only then we should go for implementation of any AI related tool. So this sort of preparation is very, very important. And then outcome also from the pilot program can be seen whether it is increasing the instruction time of the teacher or it is decreasing the instruction time of the student, whether it is increasing the engagement of the students or it is alienating the students from the classroom teaching because they feel that it is too mechanized, because overuse and underuse also can create a problem. And then learning outcomes, whether the learning outcomes are improving or not. If the learning outcomes are improving, students are getting more engaged, teachers find it fruitful, and they're able to reduce the instructional time. So obviously that is a success, and we can go ahead with full-fledged implementation. So this is how we should prepare step by step before we implement something.
Okay. So that was very practical. I mean, I fully agree that the first step should not be a large scale purchase decision, you know.
And yes, one more thing. I forgot to mention one aspect, very important aspect.
Mhm.
Orientation of the parents is also very important,
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
because otherwise the parents start giving resistance to the implementation of any policy.
Correct.
So there will be concerns, increase in screen time, decrease in the human connect. So all these things, and then data privacy. So all these things must be addressed with the parents first. Otherwise, parents' resistance will come to the classroom. But if parents are informed, well informed, then
Hmm.
parents become our allies in helping us implement the same. So
Absolutely.
parent orientation also is very important.
Parent orientation, very important, ma'am, because parents are to be brought into the loop.
Loop.
Otherwise, no new intervention would, you know, be successful. So
Exactly.
the first, I agree, the first step should be a controlled pilot with very clear objectives. For example, a school may select one grade, one subject, or one learning challenge, anything, you know. Then it can measure improvement through pre-assessment, kind of, you know, or
We
post-assessment.
generally, whenever we have to implement such technology, we generally begin with middle school, because with
Okay.
middle school we get an idea of for the lower classes as well as the upper classes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Generally, we take middle school and
That's a
the subject.
connecting, yeah,
Yeah,
connect. That's a connecting link between the lower
correct.
and the upper grades. Very correct. Very, very thoughtful. So teacher feedback, you know, student engagement and quality of learning outcomes. Learning outcomes are most important, you know, until unless
Yes.
any intervention yields expected learning outcomes, that is not worthy of you know, implementing in the schools. So AI must prove its value in the classroom for sure, not only in a brochure, right?
Yeah.
So now I invite Ma'am Sonia Walia. Ma'am, if you had to design the first AI pilot in your school, what would it look like? Like who would be involved? Teachers, students, parents, academic coordinators, and
Anuja
what?
ma'am has cleared everything, but
Yeah.
my concern will be first I will formulate, but I have already formulated the policy, AI policy, where we are going to use and how much we are going to use. And then we had orientations with the parents, of course, with the children. And the most important was data privacy. Privacy was the most important thing, and we are going step by step. Feedbacks, yes, teachers are mighty happy uh, because lesson planning, rubrics, and the differentiate, the flexibility, it has come to them, and they are very happy. And I think gradually the students are also coming to term with this, that they cannot fully rely on AI because teacher is still the teacher.
No doubt, no doubt, ma'am. So that is again the verification layer. The most important part in AI adoption is the verification layer, where the human teacher must verify the kind of
Yes, the
content being
verify.
generated,
Yes,
before delivering it to the students, it must verify, it must get verified by the human teacher.
Yes.
Otherwise, it
And
won't
for
work.
that, teacher training, as Anuja ma'am said, CBSE is
Capacity.
also having, and we are also doing teacher training is must. First, the teacher should have full confidence that yes, this is going to help us.
Correct, correct, correct. So that was a very grounded response, ma'am. One important point emerging here is that AI success should not be measured only by usage numbers, right? Just because students are using an AI tool does not mean they are learning better.
Yes.
So we need deeper indicators. We must see whether the students are asking better questions. There are weaker students receiving timely support.
For
Accuracy.
that, sir, feedbacks will come into the fore.
Absolutely. So our teachers saving.
Learning outcomes and feedbacks that guide
Yes,
the policy.
absolutely. So are the learning outcomes improving? That is the most important part. So if any tool is not yielding the expected intended results, the outcomes means, and that too measurable. You must have a measurable learning outcome, the initial stage of the student, and after intervention, where are they getting to? So that must be fully measured. So and then most important is the student confidence increasing. Until as the students are getting confident, so the doesn't make any sense. Is the teacher feeling empowered rather than threatened? The most important is, again, every new intervention into the school system threatens the teachers. They always feel as if they are going to be replaced. So the teacher education is very, very important. They must be, first of all, prepared mentally, psychologically, that their job is not under threat. It is only going to augment their capabilities, right? So these are the real markers of meaningful AI adoption for sure. Now I invite Dr. Sonia Mago for the final response in this round, ma'am. So what first steps would you recommend for a school that wants to adopt AI responsibly? Again, I'm repeating it, responsibly means it must be, in the right sense. And after 3 to 6 months, how should the school decide whether to continue, expand, modify, or stop the AI intervention? Yes,
Yeah.
over to you, ma'am.
Yes. First of all, the challenges that we were talking about and what preparation the school needs to do before adopting AI. For if example, if we are going to start it for the first time, of course, infrastructure, curriculum integration is required, and then teacher upskilling training is required, and learning outcomes are met or not. Whether it is an alignment with the learning outcomes or not, that is also to be seen.
Correct.
And moreover, security risk and data privacy also needs to be ensured. We can say that AI tools have ears, they are listening to us, right?
Correct.
So if we are talking about shoes, suppose somebody says that I need shoes, then we start getting ads of shoes on social media handles and using AI tools. They are listening to us. We
No
need
doubt.
to make students clear about all these things, that you have to be very, very careful while dealing with AI tools, and not they should not share something private, the details of bank or other things, OTPs, etc. So we need to sensitize students as well as parents about it. As ma'am has covered almost all the points, parents also need to be made aware whenever we are going to implement some new program in our school. So parents' readiness and acceptance should be there. Parents should also be ready to accept any new change that we are bringing. So we need to first let the parents give their consent as well. And students, I think they are having a lot of craze for AI, especially in my school. I see when we offer them 4 5 skill subjects, they all want to opt for AI.
Yeah.
Most of them, they want to study AI only because they also see their future in that. So I think that after 6 months, if we introspect, AI is going to be there. AI will stay there, and the students are imagining their future in jobs related to AI. So it is going to be there, and it is, if it is used wisely, then definitely we are going to get benefited. All the people, all the stakeholders, they are going to get benefits from AI. The school management, the teachers, the parents, as well as the students, they are going to get huge benefits from AI. Thank you.
That completes our three rounds of discussion beautifully. If I were to summarize the collective wisdom of our panel, I would say number one, do not begin with AI, begin with the child, right? Do not begin with tools, begin with learning apps, as uh, already told by Anuja ma'am. Do not begin with automation, begin with teacher empowerment, capacity building. Do not begin with excitement, begin with evidence and evidence of learning outcomes. AI must not reduce the role of the teacher, it must increase the teacher's reach, insight, and effectiveness. As we come to the end of this webinar, let me share a few closing thoughts. Artificial intelligence is moving very fast. Across the world, AI is already changing how people write, code, design, research, communicate, analyze data, and make decisions. You must have gone through the recent labor market research by Anthropic, which gives us a very important signal. The report suggests that AI may not yet have created large visible unemployment effects, but many professional tasks are already being performed or assisted by AI. Some roles, especially in areas like programming, customer service, financial analysis, content work, and knowledge based service, are becoming highly exposed to AI. This does not mean that all jobs will disappear, but it does mean that many jobs will be redesigned. The future job market may not simply ask, what degree do you have? It may ask, can you think with AI? Can you verify AI? Can you ask better questions? Can you combine human judgment with machine efficiency? Can you solve problems that do not have ready made answers? This has a direct message for schools. If the world of work is changing, then the world of learning must also change, right? So our students should not become, passive users of technology. They must become critical thinkers, ethical users, creative problem solvers, and responsible decision makers. That is why the best model for schools is not AI versus teachers. The best model is AI with teachers, AI with school leadership, AI with human values, AI with accountability, AI with personalization. So at Dialogues in Education, our belief is very clear. Technology can scale learning, but trust is built by humans, right? So AI can generate content, but teachers generate confidence, right? So AI can identify, patterns, but educators understand children. As you already, our worthy panelists told, that the human teachers understand the level of learning, even the emotional aspect of every child. So they structure their lesson plans, their teaching styles as per the requirements of individual child. So AI can improve efficiency, but human expertise gives direction. So it meaning and moral responsibility. So the future belongs neither to schools that reject AI blindly, nor to schools that adopt AI blindly. The future belongs to schools that ask, where can AI help? Where must humans lead? How do we protect the child? How do we improve learning? How do we build trust? That is where, trust, efficiency, and personalization truly converge. On behalf of Dialogues in Education, I sincerely thank you, all the distinguished panelists, Dr. Anuja Kaushal, Ma'am Sonia Wali Ma'am, and Dr. Sonia Mago. Thank you for sharing your valuable time, experience, and insights. I also thank all the participants, educators, and participants who joined us this evening. Let us continue this conversation beyond today's webinar. Let us not ask only whether AI will change education. Let us ask how we, as educators and school leaders, will guide that change responsibly. Thank you so much. Good evening and best wishes to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Namaskar. Thank you.